PKN is our next presenter, coming up to the stage. Steve has run across Iowa and ran around Lake Michigan. Just think about that, around Lake Michigan, to fight for those battling cancer. This summer, 160 people will each run a marathon, one after another, 4,000 miles across the United States to beat down cancer. Please listen to Steve's story. Here's Steve.
Thank you all so very much for being here, and to the lady that just presented, I did my very best to listen, but I was at the same time spending a lot of time thinking about what I would be sharing with you guys. So the fact that I got any of what you said resonates that you did a great job, so that was fantastic. Before I get started, I would just want to invite all of you that I hope that the same way that I got started on my journey, that what I share with you tonight will inspire at least one of you to go to that place where you are terribly uncomfortable and to do the thing that has been sitting on your bucket list for so many years that you have not done. Because that is the journey that life is really all about, and the reason that we are here. I love to run. And just about any chance I get, any opportunity to go anywhere, I get there by running. I hate cancer. It's taken my grandmother from me. It's taken my aunt from me. And on day 27 of my 40 marathons in 40 days around Lake Michigan this summer, it took my uncle from me. My life is now dedicated to running to help those people that are no longer able to do so for themselves. In 2009, I started in Council Bluffs, and 11 days and 11 marathons later, I found myself in Muscatine. I was the second person to ever cross the great state of Iowa on foot. Gravel roads are gravel roads for a reason. They're super hilly. That was day 3, and I didn't make that mistake again. The run across the state of Iowa brought me in touch with many different people. People ran with me all along that journey. Many of them people that were running for their own reasons, many were running because they just wanted to keep me company, many running in the memory of those people who had been in the fight, lost the fight, or continued in the fight against cancer. 11 marathons in 11 days get you a little sore. This was an almost nightly occurrence, and in difference to some of the massages you may get, these were never very pleasant. You don't know you can do something like this until you try to do something like this. Standing at the Mississippi River after 11 days and 300 miles was a life-changing event. Not only personally, because I proved to myself that I could do something that I wasn't sure I was capable of doing, but it also led me to dedicating the rest of my life to finding ways to make journeys that would inspire others, not only chase their own journeys, but to reach into their pocketbook and donate to causes that help us fight this terrible disease. So, running across the state of Iowa, 11 marathons, 11 days, you get a lot of people that like to jump and bandwagon some of your photos, like my mom. She's now making a career of this. And she's gotten really good at it. She's photobombed Lance Armstrong. She has photobombed different television interviews I've done, and it's really hard to keep a straight face as she comes walking behind the camera if you know what's going on. You can't raise money after doing 11 marathons in 11 days by then deciding to do 5 marathons in 5 days. It doesn't work that way. You've got to go bigger. So this past summer, I became the first person to ever run around Lake Michigan. 1,037 miles, 40 marathons in 40 days. The day that we started was the hottest Memorial Day in Chicago history. Depending on who you believe, it was anywhere from 107 to 110 degrees, regular temperature, nearly 120 degrees on the road. But Mom was always there. Lake Michigan became my mom. When I needed something, she was my go-to. I jump in it, and from 110 degrees to 52 degrees, it's damn cold. But what it did do is it allowed my temperature to come down so I could eat, because I needed to put 8,000 calories a day into my body. This was not a photo bomb. This was my mom waiting for me at the end of day 40 when I arrived at the end of my journey. And that's the greatest hug of my life. Still hard to talk about it and see, because that was a really, really incredible moment. And this is my family. My nieces, my nephews, my mom's photobombing in the back, like she always does. And that is her sister and her brother in the cowboy hat, and it was their brother, my uncle, who died from stomach cancer on day 27 of our run. The run raised $35,000 for the Livestrong Foundation, and once again, you can't go lower, you have to go higher. So we're now organizing the $1 Million Marathon. I figured if one guy running a few marathons in a row could raise some money, 160 could raise a whole hell of a lot of money. So we are now in the process of accepting applications to run all the way across the United States. 160 people will each run a marathon, one after another, 4,000 miles this summer. And in the first 30 days, we have raised over $140,000. Any of you can participate in this, and if you want to, you can see me afterwards. These are just some of the people that will be joining us. TJ is in the back, and he is part of your group, and the reason that I am here tonight will be running. Lori and Craig Hassan are both brain cancer survivors and married. One finding out that they had brain cancer after the other, after they had become married. But these are our human quilt. On our website now there is 90 of these 160 people, all sharing incredible stories, many of which have never ran more than 3 or 4 miles in their life. And they are now going to prove to themselves and to all of us that anything is possible. So if you don't want to get involved in the $1 Million Marathon, that's okay. But don't say you can't. Because you all are capable of amazing things. Things beyond what you can even imagine. You can start from the smallest of steps and eventually find yourself on the top of your own personal mountain. I thank you all so much for coming here tonight. It has been an honor to see all of you, and I hope that you will find your personal marathon and make that happen. Thank you.